training your brain and body with interactive games and tests. Why is there no physical activity in today's health physical? Trazer is an holistic technology used to rehabilitate, prevent falls, and improve sport performance. Trazer reports provide you, your clinician, your physical therapist, or athletic trainer objective data to make decisions on your health and performance over time. Measure what matters to change your game. Take the Trazer Challenge. Confidence, growth, connected by Trazer.
At Fusion Sport, we're all about driving human performance. We develop and support a range of technologies all designed to assist people to be their best. SmarterBase is used by hundreds of elite sporting organisations across the globe, and more recently has been used by the military and performing arts as well.
Our SmarterBase technology has at the heart of it an integrated and connected philosophy. What's different about SmarterBase is that it's truly flexible and self-engineerable. That really puts the power into our customers' hands, and it allows them to use it in unique ways that perhaps we haven't even thought of.
Between ourselves and the rest of the field, but here comes Jimmy Stone.
What's going on, everybody? Your man Eric Wilson here. I want to wish everybody a happy Memorial Day as we celebrate today. We want to remember and honor all those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice and those who continually make us the greatest country by their salute to service. So, finally, we get to a division that has some relevancy in the NFL because, like I said, whether you love us or hate us, you're always going to hear about us. And that is, in fact, the NFC East. The New York Giants, the Washington football team, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Dallas Cowboys. I was expecting the entire crew tonight, but with Memorial Day, I anticipated we would be missing a couple of people. So shout out to Ty Ray from the Say What, Say It Again sports talk show. And, of course, our man John Scherer, Sideline Sport Networks. They are celebrating with their families. But I do have the rest of the crew here with me. First off, our girl, Miss Megan Price, 806 Sports, and the Sip Off. In full Cowboys gear. Goodness gracious. It's going to be a long night.
Right.
Hi, Megan.
Hi, how are you?
Well, I was fine until I saw what you were wearing. So
gotta come with that cowboy blue?
Not tonight. Anyhow, let me go ahead and get what I think is going to be your tag team partner tonight. Believe in the Pac-12 podcast, Mr. Michael Carrot-Tanute. Oh, Jesus, not another one.
Woo!
And he's got that. He's got the hat to boot. So maybe I can get some, sympathy or some love from this last guy joining us here tonight. My man, Florida Sun Review and Fantasy and Players, Mr. Alex Fleming. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Stuck at work. That's all I do is work, like an indentured servant in America. And now you got me talking about the NFC East.
Hey,
damn.
It's the NFC East tonight. Thank you very much. All right. You know what? Before we get to that, I do have a question that I want to ask y'all really quick so that everybody, because tomorrow is June 1st. And as we know, Julio Jones is probably one of the biggest names of where he's going to go. So my question is potential landing spots for Julio Jones tomorrow. I'm going to give everybody 30 seconds. Megan, I'm going to start with you, and then I'm going to go to Alex and then Mike, and I'll wrap it up. But I just want to get everybody's thoughts on where they think Julio Jones is going to go. So, Miss Megan Price, you're up first.
All right. So last week we heard the news that Julio was talking to Shannon Sharpe, and he said that he would not be returning to ATL. The first thing that came to mind to me was Seattle. Obviously, money is not the issue, or he would be staying in ATL. They want to keep him. They want to keep him happy. They're struggling. They want to rebuild. but he said he's out. So I think Julio wants to play for the best quarterback possible that he can play for. And they need some receiving help in Seattle. Seattle, there was also some rumors about Russell not wanting to stay and possibly leaving. So I think they're going to do what they can to help him out as well. So I definitely see him going to Seattle and balling out with DK. That's what I think.
Well, as I have to match Megan here just to show Eric some good style, the best place for Julio Jones, and if I'm a certain quarterback, I'm running in to readjust my contract to get him in, because to me it would lock up. It would definitely it'd still be tough, but it would probably lock up the AFC, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs. And yes, I get the cap. I get all that. I'm just saying, if I'm Patrick Mahomes and I'm Travis Kelce, I'm going in to talk to Andy Reid to do whatever, obviously without sacrificing them, because you're not trading Mahomes for Julio Jones anyway. But that being said, the Kansas City Chiefs are the best spot for Julio Jones. And I love what Megan's saying about Seattle. It makes sense. They are not trading him in the NFC. They hold the cards. Call it spite, call it whatever you will, but they're not going to bite their own hand there. So I say Kansas City would be a dangerous but phenomenal place for Julio Jones.
Let's be real, ladies and gentlemen. If you're the Atlanta, you ain't listening. Just a second. If you're the Atlanta Falcons, you traded him outside of the NFC because you don't want to see this man. Real talk. He's got about 2 or 3 good years left. And what does Atlanta need more than a good pair of skinny jeans? A corner. Because they have no corners. So you need to go to a team that has a corner available and somebody in the AFC. Gee, who in the AFC could use a veteran wide receiver to teach the wide receiver core and take you to the next level? The Baltimore Ravens. Imagine that squad with Julio, Dobbins, El Freaky, and Andrews. Bro, Harbaugh is cooking up scallops and lasagna bolognese while some of y'all are content with the rice-a-roni. Real talk. Writing's on the wall. 2nd round pick. Oh, and before you say, what about the cap? What about the cap? In the 4th round and the 5th round, the Baltimore Ravens selected Brandon Stevens from SMU and Sean Wade from Ohio State. Marcus Peters is a liability. You could trade him over to help out Burnt Toast, a.k.a. A.J. Terrell in Atlanta. Give up the 2nd round pick, and everything's fine and dandy. And you don't have to see Julio until 2024. Baltimore Ravens.
Fair enough. All right, so let me give you my pick really quick. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you can't tell, it's going to be a homer pick. There's no even question. Here is my reason why Julio Jones needs to come to Philadelphia. It's very simple. First off, you've got a bunch of young wide receivers, so you need some veteran leadership. He brings that presence over there. Number 2, we have plenty of young talent that could go to Atlanta and try and reinvent themselves, best suited maybe in their system, as opposed to Julio Jones, who is a veteran wide receiver. We have Philadelphia, as per Pro Football Focus and everybody, the easiest schedule this season. So it gives him yet another year, not only to remain fresh, but to be viable. Oh, and lastly, Week 1 is in Atlanta. What better way to stick it to your former team than to play against the first team you have to face back in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium and show them you done messed up? Julio Jones, 215 is calling, brother. I think you need to answer. All right, let me get everybody in here. So let's get to the NFC East, and we are going to start with the New York Football Giants here. As I see, I put the schedule up for everybody to take a look at. Miss Megan Price, as always, we're going to start with you. Give me your thoughts when you look at this schedule. We know that Saquon is on his way back. We know that Joe Judge is probably going to be him and Dave Gettleman. Their seats might be a little warm this season, but in a very winnable division. Miss Megan Price, what are your thoughts on the New York Giants, and where do you think they're going to wind up or how they're going to end up this season?
When I look at this schedule, what sticks out to me is from week 11 to the very end right there. Seems like extremely tough schedule. You have Tampa, and then Philly, Miami, Chargers, Dallas, Philly again, Chicago, Washington. Now, Washington beat up all over this division last year, and I expect them to do the same thing. So I'm thinking Giants are going to go 8-9, and that's probably being nice.
Wow, short, sweet, and to the point. 8-9. Okay, fine, fair enough. Mr. Fleming, give me your thoughts on the New York Giants, sir.
Did you know that Danny Dimes and myself share a birthday, May 27th? Probably didn't know that. He's a Gemini. So he's got this split personality thing going on. It's like, if I'm going to have a bad year, I'm going to have to work extra hard to have a good year. Saquon Barkley, a lot of tread on those tires, and people are thinking he's a bust, thinking Christian McCaffrey's better. They stocked up on wide receivers. Let me see. Kenny Galladay, Sterling Shepard, still have old man Golden Tate. Darius Slayton's not getting the respect he deserves. And then you got Evan Ingram, and you bring in Kyle Rudolph and the Burger King monster, Kelvin Benjamin. So they got wide receivers everywhere. They got running backs. Lot stable of running back. Oh, and by the way, the New York Giants quietly have the best corners and secondary in the division. And I'm not talking about just the NFC least. I'm talking about the NFC. Stop and take a look at the NFC and then look at the roster of the New York Giants. Their defensive secondary is next to none. Very hard to be rivaled. They have Mookie Hawkins' own godson, Darnay Holmes. I got to meet him. He's a star. Even Deion Sanders said that. Didn't we interview Christian Angulo? I believe we did, Mr. Wilson. Mr. Bradbury's no slouch. And they got rid of the bum that was holding people hostage and stealing people's watches and reinforced the safety position. Guys, I'm at work. I haven't been drinking. I'm not high. 11-6.
What? 11? You surrounded by all that liquor, so I don't know if I could. Alex, you might need to be 11-6. Listen, I take nothing away from Christian Angulo, but you're seriously going to sit there with a straight face and try and tell me that the New York Giants, looking at that schedule that I have posted up right here,
keep the schedule up, and I'll explain myself. Keep the schedule up.
The schedule is up because I'm like,
bro,
ain't no way 11-6.
Broncos are bums. That's a W. They split with Washington. Washington is going to have a power outage with Ryan Fitzpatrick. Look where they play Washington, early and late. I'm predicting a split. So that's 2 wins overall. Falcons. Okay, come on, man. Saints. Are we going to have Taysom Hill or are we going to have Jameis Winston? Here's my point. If they gave Tom Brady and the Buccaneers hell, imagine what they're going to do with that bum Taysom Hill or the interception machine known as Jameis Winston. I'm going to count that as a W. Cowboys, split with the Cowboys. They probably win in Dallas and lose in New York. That's still a split. You're already up to 4 wins. Rams, that's an L. Panthers, that's a W. Chiefs, that's an L. Raiders, that's a W. Bye week. They always play the Bucs tough. I hate it when we play New York because whether it comes down to a last-second missed field goal by Mr. Gay or a referee nice whistle on Monday night, they always play us tough. Eagles. Dolphins. If it's in Miami, I give it to Miami, but it's not. It's in New Jersey. So that's a W. Chargers.
Actually,
which Chargers
sir,
are we getting?
It is in Miami.
It isn't? Okay, so that's an L. All right. Chargers. That's at home.
Nope, that one's in LA.
But that's a 4:00 game, isn't it?
It is a 4:00 game. Yes, sir.
That's a W. Dallas. I mean, I'm being nice. I said split already. Eagles. And then Bears, Washington. Count overall. They can win 10, maybe 11. So I'm going to be bold and say 11-6.
You have lost your mind. I cannot believe that. Mike, I'm going to let you handle this one, bro, because I don't even know what to say right now. I am seriously dumbfounded that he formulated his lips to spew such hostility, not only towards Philadelphia, But the fact that the New York Giants are going to go 11 and Mike, please, this is all you, brother.
Well,
go ahead.
I think Alex had a little Harry Potter spell and stole some of my notes, because I do love the Giants secondary. And last year, I will say, playing wise, I know the second half without Saquon was tough. And, yes, I love to rip on Jason Garrett, saying he'll call way too many passes to run the ball. But defensively, to focus on that, yes, their secondary, I'm not going to say is the best in the league, but is a top secondary. I agree with Alex on that. I have that in my notes. Getting Saquon Barkley back and Daniel Jones, like you said, I mean, the guy's got the speed. He has the arm. He started to at least get better cutting down interceptions. The offensive line, though, has been the question, receiving core, where he doesn't, and I think I said this on draft night too, where he doesn't have to be the man and he can just kind of grow into it, make plays, be probably a spark plug on special teams. But 11-6, man, I think that's lofty. But with the healthy Saquon Barkley, I mean, look, I look at Miami, and no, not just because of John, but again, I'm just not sold on Miami. So if they prove me wrong, they prove me wrong. I definitely look at that as a win. I definitely was going to say that too. Coming out of a bye, I mean, nobody's Andy Reid, so we know that. But coming out of a bye, that's a Monday night game against the Bucs after they get a game against the Raiders, which I'm thinking by that point of the season definitely could be a win. I'm gonna go 9-8 with the Giants, because again, splitting in the division, I mean, each one of these teams has pretty much each one of the teams could have an argument to go 4-2 at best, but I'd say it pretty much would be 3-3 for each team, and we'll see how they do outside of the division. But yeah, I'm gonna go 9-8 because Denver. I mean, real quick, Denver hasn't done much. Atlanta, again, if Julio Jones is gone, I still believe in Matt Ryan. I know, Alex, we love to pick on Atlanta, but, I mean, Matt Ryan can still play. So, but, again, their defense is – Atlanta's defense is garbage. Washington, again, in Washington early. With that defense, though, it'll be tough. But, yeah, I mean, the Rams, again, who knows what Rams team will get, but if Stafford is healthy and that Rams team is healthy – they're an NFC favorite. I think we agree on that. So I'm just going to go 9-8. I think their schedule kind of plays out to that. But I mean, I could also see them going 7-10 too. But I'm going with 9-8.
What is wrong with you people?
I'm
Megan
not so
Price
crazy,
is probably
am I?
the only person.
Saquon Barkley.
Okay,
it's Saquon Barkley. That is the best running back in the game when he's healthy. Sorry.
Yes,
you can't.
He is. He's a Penn State boy. You can't. I know this. I know what Saquon can do. Let's get that out the way. But I'm looking at this and I'm saying to myself, 11-6. First off, I'm still blown. Alex, listen, your assessment of the situation proves to be if they're 100% healthy, yes, they could truly win those games. I don't see any team in this division, to Mike's point, going more than 4-2 division-wise. I say we all split. I say 3-3. Okay, that's what I say. But I'm looking at these games. Let me pull them up here really quick. First off, I'm looking at Alex is saying they could start the season 4-0 between Denver, Washington, Atlanta, and New Orleans.
At worst, 3-1.
At worst, 3-1. But at last time I checked, Sean Payton is still coaching, is he not? Sean Payton is still there, which means he still has the ability to get his players in the right condition. Washington, Ron Rivera with Chase Young and that defense, they will split. But I'm just telling you, if you're telling me that the first road game is against a divisional opponent and it's the Washington football team whose schedule we're going to get to next, ain't no way Chase Young is starting off the season 0-1 against a divisional opponent. That just ain't happening. So I'm saying they go
3-1. Absolutely.
I'm saying 2-2, sir. I'm saying
Denver.
2-2.
Denver's an easy W. Let's say they lose to Washington. I believe they split, but let's say Washington gets them early. Okay, fine.
Alex,
yes.
You gave your assessment. May I, please?
Go for it.
Thank you. When I look at the rest of that then, so I'm saying 2-2 before they get to Dallas, which they're going to Jerry World, which we know Dallas, New York. That rivalry is just as hated as Philly and Dallas. So anything and everything is possible. But for this particular moment, I'm going to actually give it to the Cowboys because Giants have to go there. Okay, but then here we go. Rams, Panthers, Chiefs. Those three games, I think are going to be 3 straight losses because I think New York is going to sleep on Carolina because it's Sam Darnold and they feel like, oh, Sam might not be able to do anything. I think Sam sneaks one out against them. All right. Then the back half of that schedule, I'm looking at this Giant schedule and I'm saying to myself, we know that Dave Gettleman and Joe Judge are 2 guys who this team will play for. Yes, the defense has got better. And I'm very excited to see what second-year Christian Angulo is going to do. Ladies and gentlemen, please remember that name because Alex and I have seen this brother from the start. He is the truth. I'm going to tell you that right now. But the back half of that schedule, the New York Football Giants are really going to have to show me that they have it all put together. See, the first half of the schedule can be up and down because people are still getting that continuity together. But that second half, guess what? It's put up or shut up time. And we know the Giants. They either start hot and fall, or they start and they rise from, the second half on. I cannot, in good conscience, go more than 8 wins with this team. I can't. I have to see it. If they pull out, Mike, to your point 9 or Alex to your point 11, I will be shocked and amazed, but I cannot. I have to agree with Megan and say 8 and 9 just because Saquon, best running back in the league, but you're putting a lot of tread on them tires. Tell me the wide receivers that they have outside of Evan Ingram, if he's even still there, who is actually going to be a threat to any defense. Please, give me one.
Kenny Golladay, Kadarius Toney, Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton, Evan Ingram, Kyle Rudolph, Kelvin Benjamin.
Okay, Kyle Rudolph.
The wide receiver and tight end room is nice.
Okay, I'll give you Kyle Rudolph. I'm not giving you Mr. Burger King, as you called him, Kelvin Benjamin. I'm not giving you him. I'm sorry.
And
that
Mr.
brother's going to
Golladay?
have to show. That brother's going to have to show me he worked his salt because he's been
Southside Chicago. Kenny Golladay. Southside Chicago, Mr. Golladay.
Okay, fine. So you got Golladay and you got Ingram. You can't talk to me about Sterling Shepard is a boy amongst men. I said it and I'm sticking to it. So they got Evan Ingram, Kyle Rudolph. I will
And Golladay.
Golladay. So you
And
got 3.
what do you think of Mr. Slayton? Darius Slayton is highly underrated.
Yeah, he is. You know why? Because we haven't seen it out of him. I've got to see it, Alex. The eye test just ain't there, bro. I got to see it, and I don't see it with him. That's why I say 8 and 9. If they prove me wrong, guess what? Kudos to the New York Football Giants for coming from the cellar, from the outhouse to the penthouse, and actually making a name for yourself. But as of right now, 8 and 9. Go ahead, Mike.
By the way,
Eric,
one last thing before we move on to the next team.
Sure.
The inconsistency of the NFC East. How many times have we had back-to-back champions in that division? By the way, thank you.
We got there,
It's been
though.
a few years.
We were there. We just didn't win it.
Hey, but Alex, and Eric too, and Megan, real quick. The one thing I was going to say, Eric, to the point of the schedule, though, Alex, Eric does bring up a point. I mean, the first half of the schedule, I look at it, and I think it could be a little tougher. But that back half, I mean, okay, and I hate doing this because everybody's schedule is based off everyone's last year's record. But if we go off of last year, the Giants' back half schedule, you'd have to worry about Tampa. You'd have to pseudo worry about Miami, but they still have no proven offense. And then the Chargers, if Herbert takes that next step. But then, I mean, look, Chicago by that point, who knows what they'll be. And yes, if Fields is playing and they're battling for the playoffs, I understand it. But I would say, and outside of playing Washington the last week and even putting mine and Megan's Cowboys in there, that second half of the schedule could run out good for them. But again, I hate to base off of last season, but seeing what those teams did the second half of last year, I could see why Alex would say 11, but I'm with you. But that's why I went barely above 500. But I'd say the second half of the schedule plays out better than the first half.
All right.
I don't believe in Danny Dimes. I guess that's where I don't believe in him. It's off the back of the
I do. I don't like the Giants, but I do.
Hey, people hated me.
Megan.
People hated Jesus. It happens.
Unfortunately,
Danny
Megan.
Dimes is not Jesus.
Thank you, Megan. But what I'm saying is, unfortunately, because the man ran 60 some odd yards on my defense, I got to put respect on his name. Because of that reason, I have to put respect on his name. Any
Hell, Eric, I
quarterback.
could probably run 50 on your defense.
Anyhow, we are moving on. Thank you very much. Let's go to the Washington football team. Next team up here. Mr. Fleming, talk to me about the Washington football team, sir, because you and I are both very high on Chase Young and Ron Rivera and this defense. We know what they're capable of, and you definitely have to put respect on their name. Now, Megan is saying that we need to put respect on Tyler Heineke's name, which I think at some point, if Ryan Fitzpatrick becomes Ryan Fitztragic, we are going to have to. But until that time, Mr. Fleming, please give us your assessment of the Washington football team.
Who? Taylor Heineke? The guy that's been in and out of the league multiple years? Guy who looks like he's been working out in the gym with Tim Tebow? That Taylor Heineke? Who?
Yes.
Let's not waste our time with the backup bum quarterback. Anyway, that defense, bro. That defense. Real. Like, Method Man, tell me, is it real? Load up and kill one with that defense. I'm worried about that offense. The best wide receiver in football that nobody talks about, exactly, is not getting his numbers because people can't seem to connect with him, and he's constantly beating his corners. So you go out and you get a cheap man's Band-Aid and getting Ryan Fitzpatrick. Now, you know Ryan Fitzpatrick. I know Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's good for half the season. What does he do the other half of the season? You need consistency in Washington. And with Daniel Snyder, can you even use consistency with him? I mean, you can use consistency when it comes to racism or sexual harassment or charging ticket prices or losing co-owners, but consistency on the football field? We haven't seen that out of the Washington Football Club since Ron Rivera showed up. And you know I love Ron Rivera. I met him in the 2020 Combine. I got nothing but love for Ron Rivera. But here's the issue. You have an offensive line that's a little bit shaky. I love your running back room, but they're not getting enough opportunities. Is Gibson your true number one? Where's Bryce Love? Where's Bryce Love? Real talk. Logan Thomas needs more touches. Is Fitzpatrick going to be able to give that to him? And how long are you going to rely on this defense being on the field, stopping not only the NFC least, but that number one division winning schedule, in which I believe they have to play Green Bay and a whole lot of cats from the NFC South? See, now look at that. You got the Chiefs that's going to work that schedule. The Bills are going to work. They're going to get worked by the Bills. Tampa, an old friend comes by just to say hi and hand out another ass whooping. Green Bay, Mr. Rogers. The one thing I can say about the Green Bay Packers, they protect their quarterback. They may not give him weapons, but damn it, he's protected. And then you got the division, and the division knows you better than anybody else. It's like that ex-girlfriend. They know how to pick at you. And that Saints game, bro, for some odd reason, if it's Jameis Winston, I believe he's played the Washington football team, because you said the R word earlier, twice in his career already as a buck. If he's the starter, that means he'll be able to play that team 3 times. Love the defense, not a big fan of the offense. I'm going to be nice and say 10-7 and finish second in the division.
10-7. All right, Miss Megan Price, please. And I apologize if I did, in fact, say the R word. I should not have said it. You are correct. It is, in fact, the Washington football team. But Miss Megan Price, your assessment.
Okay, so I think they actually, I hate to say this. I want to say 12-5, but I'm going to go ahead and say 11-6. I do think that, we have Fitzmagic, not Fitzpatrick, Fitzmagic. He's good for 7 games. He's going to win 7 of those games. And then we're going to see Heineke do his thing. Now, I know that Alex said that he doesn't deserve the respect. He's been in and out. But who played the champs the best? The Bucs. What team played them the best? The Washington football team. And Heineke was the quarterback that game. That was the best that they've ever looked. They're going to come back around. They're going to win this division. As much as I want Dallas to win, this is Washington's division. I agree. They're going to lose to Buffalo. They're going to lose to Kansas City. They're going to lose to Green Bay. We all agree about that. But I think they come back around and they beat Tampa Bay. They want that revenge. Then at the end of the schedule, if you look at the last 5 games, they're all divisional. I think that Washington has the ability to sweep Philly. So that's 15-8 and week 17. They have the ability to sweep Philly. And then I think they split with Dallas. I think they lose in Dallas. And I think they split with the Giants as well.
You know what? I should have never even brought y'all on this show tonight talking about how Philly just going to get swept by everybody. Alex laughing at my defense.
I didn't say that. I didn't say swept. I said everybody goes 3-3, dog.
I was trying to be nice when I said that too. Wait till we get to Philly. No, that's okay. Wait till we get to Philly. Mike Caratanudo, please. 11-6, Megan. Okay, please. Yeah. Mike Caratanudo, Washington football team, sir.
Well, not so fast to Megan and Alex, and maybe even you, Eric. I don't think that they lose to Green Bay. I'm with you about losing to Kansas City and my adoptive Buffalo Bills. But I think they beat Green Bay. And, yeah, I look at the second half of their schedule. What's Seattle going to be? It's a Monday night game. Again, Russell Wilson under the lights. Eric, you always say it, and not that I don't see it, but, again, we'll see what Seattle is at that point if they have Julio Jones. To Megan's point, if Seattle somehow he saved the NFC were to land him, again, that changes a lot. But the Raiders, again, I know we've been picking on them a little bit, but we'll see what they can do. I mean, look, Darren Waller is still a top 2-3 tight end in the league. But for Washington, again, it is that defense. It is Chase Young. I mean, Taylor Heineke, yes, I agree. They didn't have any real film on him, but he still had to make those plays. So I'm with Megan on that because I know I said once they get film on somebody, but it could be different. But, yeah, I mean, first of all, Fitzpatrick, again, played his high school ball here in Arizona, went to Harvard, so he pretty much usually is the smartest person on the field. Now, does that translate to talent for a whole season? I don't know, but Tua kept getting pulled for Fitzpatrick last year, who did lead them to a few late season wins. So that's that. But, yeah, I look at their schedule, and, again, yes, they do have to play Green Bay. Obviously, they have to play Tampa since they're not playing the South because those are the two extra division games, as we all know. So, again, with their defense, I mean, I'm going to go 11-6. But I just, again, it's a quarterback play, so I could see it going south too. Because Alex, you made the point. If that defense has to try and stop everybody and stay on the field, it's the NFL. You know you're going to give up points, even if you're the 1985 Bears defense. You're going to give up points. So that being said,
people know about that defense, bro. They are not a secret.
Right. But I'm saying if they have to stay on the field, I'm agreeing with. That's my point, because if they're kept out there or the offense isn't scoring, they're still going to give up points. So I'm going to go
look for teams that have ball control offense against the Washington football team. The longer you have the defense out on the field, the less effective they'll be in the fourth quarter.
Oh, absolutely. And can they please come up with a nickname? I'm really sick and tired of saying Washington football team. I was going to start calling them the losers. Like the loser team in on the East Coast there. I don't know. I just want a damn nickname. They've had a year to come up with something. Anyway, 11-6, Eric. 11-6, Eric. And Eric, I think because Kerrigan went and signed with your Eagles, this is my biscuit to you. I think the Eagles could actually beat them twice. No. And I'm not just saying it. I think the Eagles can beat them twice.
We will get to Philadelphia a little bit later, but I am just still in shock at this record when I look at the Washington football team. All right. Now, let me be very clear when I look at this team. All right. And I love me some Washington football team. We talk all about Chase Young, but it's more than just him. It's Cole Holcomb. It's Montez Sweat. It's Landon Collins. It's Kendall Fuller. You know, we got Will Jackson III back in there.
Darren Payne.
Yes. Thank you. So trust me, I give them all the respect in the world, but I still go back to that offense. Who do you have? Terry McLaurin. All right. Logan Thomas was up and coming, but let's see if he can translate what he did the second half of last season and actually make it effective for a full season. Antonio Gibson. As much as I would love to see this brother run the rock, bro, you need to truly step up. You are now in the NFL. Make it work. Curtis Samuel, where you been? Adam Humphries, where you been? You know what I'm saying? The offensive line is going to do their job. And whether it be Tyler Heineke or whether it actually be, Ryan Fitzpatrick, they're going to protect him. But defenses, there's no one. Terry McLaurin's the only guy. What did defenses do last year to Washington? They double-teamed McLaurin and forced Tyler Heineke, Alex Smith, or anybody else, throw the ball to somebody else, make a name for yourself. Now, granted, when I look at this Washington football team schedule, okay, Chargers, it's week 1, you're home, it's your home opener. Let's see what Ryan Fitzmagic can do. All right. And I'm saying first half of the season, he's going to be up and down, but I'm going to say he's going to get the job done. Your first 2 games are both at home. It's going to be a divisional opponent. We just got done talking about the Giants. Chase Young is not going 0-1 in the division week 2. So I say the Washington football team actually starts their season 2-0. Buffalo, yeah, you're getting worked. Sorry, boys, it's happening. You're going to bounce back in Atlanta and beat Atlanta. Then you've got the Saints, the Chiefs, and the Packers. 3 potential top teams in the NFL from last season. Not saying what they're going to be this season, what they were last season. Figure it like this. You're facing Sean Payton. You're facing the coaching of Sean Payton, the coaching of Andy Reid. And if Aaron Rodgers is there, as Stephen A. Smith says, that bad man, that is Aaron Rodgers. Those are potentially 3 losses. This team could be 500 by middle of the road. And then your Christmas present is supposed to be things get easier as you go into the new year, but not for the Washington football team. 5 division games, which means you have to set the tone the last part of the season if you think you are going to get a shot at winning the NFC East title. That's why when y'all are saying 11-6, 11-6, and 10-7, I'm like, y'all, the last 5 games are division games. Anything and everything is possible. We don't know if Tyler Heineke is going to show up. And if he does, yeah, the brother's going to play his heart out. But these defenses, we gun for each other in this division. And you have to go 5 straight weeks? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 straight weeks of divisional play. I'm sorry. I say they go 2 and 3 in that scope. So you better hope, Mike, Megan, Alex, that they got 8 wins prior to that, because if they don't, it ain't happening. Now, I will give the Washington football team a 9-8 record, but that is me being nice, because I'm saying that defensive Chase Young, if they get through, I'm saying this right here, right now, Memorial Day 2021, mark it down your calendar. If the Washington football team finishes 4-1 those last 5 weeks and wins the NFC East division crown, then you damn sure better give Chase Young Defensive Player of the Year, because he's going to put it on his shoulders and make sure that team is prepared. And if that happens, I'll start 2022 eating some humble pie. But I'm telling you right now, 9-8 is what I see this team.
Can I say one more thing too?
Please, go ahead.
Their first 2 picks from the draft, as much as it paid me when I started looking over it, because that kid, the inside linebacker, Jamin Davis, that got out of Kentucky, I mean, the kid's a downhill runner. I'm not saying he doesn't play the pass game that well. I'll say that that's kind of again, you can play action him, I think, especially at the NFL level with as intricate as the play action gets. But I love that pick, and I love Cosme out of Texas, the big tackle out of Texas. So I know for a tackle in the beginning, early in the season, but I think that kid could start. I think the rest of their draft wasn't bad. I know they got that other outside linebacker late in the 7th round out of Baylor, who I think had some. I don't know if he had some academic troubles early on that I was reading, but again, they're making sure their defense has depth, and Rivera's building that way. In this day and age, it's tough. I'm with you, Eric. It's tough to not have that depth on your offense, especially with weapons. But again, they're going to make it very, very hard. Like I said, even if they're spending too much time on the field, they're going to make it very, very difficult to get touchdowns, and people might just walk away with field goals. I don't want it. You know I don't want it. I don't want it at all.
There's a method behind my madness, guys. If what I say is true and New York wins the division, the strength of schedule is going to be the way that the Washington football team gets that number 7 spot. If you've been paying attention to my picks, Green Bay, Chicago, that's 2. We haven't got to the South, but we don't need to talk about the South. I have the Rams winning that division with maybe San Francisco sneaking in, and that's a big-ass maybe. NFC East, last year, barely had 1, 500. This year, I think they get 2, but it all depends on that last matchup between the Giants and the Washington football team. It really, truly does. Oh, and by the way, styles make fights. Look at the schedule for the football team. Defense is going to be hot unless they get cooked by Herbert. Then they're going to face a divisional rival. They get worked. They get back on track. They might get worked. They might get back on track. They get worked. They deal with Aaron Rodgers. They get back on track. They get worked. They get back on track. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. It all depends if you can get to Russ. They get back on track. They get back on track. They get back on track. Dallas gets revenge. They get back on track. Up and down roller coaster, bro.
Mm-hmm. I think though, I like that third round pick that they got, that wide receiver from North Carolina, Brown.
Oh, yes.
I like that pick a lot. And I think that, North Carolina surprisingly had a really decent football team this last year. You didn't hear a whole lot about it, but they did play pretty well. And then I also think, I don't know why everybody is saying that, oh, Sean Payton is still in New Orleans. New Orleans has the exact same problem that Washington has. They don't have a quarterback. I don't care about Jameis Winston. He was a record holder for turnovers. Is that right? Interceptions, one of those. So I don't believe in Jameis Winston. The difference in Washington and New Orleans is Washington has that defense. We were all talking about this all night long, how good their defense is. New Orleans doesn't have that. Count week 5 as a W for Washington.
Well, wow. I will say I watched a lot of North Carolina. And Brown got overshadowed by those running backs, which, again, Denver did land, in my opinion. Look, I know what Najee Harris did. I know what Etienne is. But the kid that Denver got 3 years from now, and if I have to eat humble pie like you say, Eric, I will.
I'm a fan of Javonte Williams.
This kid will be the best running back in the game.
All right. Let's move on to Mike and Megan's favorite team in the NFL. I might have to sit this one out. I'm going to go first and get mine out the way, and then the three of y'all can.
And 17. You have Washington going 9-8 or 8-9. You got to have Dallas winning the division then, right?
No. What is wrong with you two? What is wrong with you two?
Megan, are you still drinking from your birthday?
So, okay, you must be. Let me be very abundantly 1,000% clear here when I talk about the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboy defense couldn't stop the four of us, and we were the only four on the field for their defense. With that being said, Dak is back. And you want to talk about a man playing with a humongous chip on his shoulder, something to prove, and actually has the weapons to get it done. Listen. He's got Zeke, Cooper, Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, Blake Yalwin. The fact that I know your entire roster just makes me just want to hurl, but I digress. As Alex has taught me in the 3 years we've been together, know your enemy. And the Dallas Cowboys are damn for sure my enemy. As I've always said this, I don't care if Philly goes 2-15 every single year. As long as those 2 wins come against the Dallas Cowboys, I would actually be okay with that. But that withstanding, I'm looking at this schedule. And first off, you're opening up against the champs. So in Tampa, I mean, there's a possibility that the four of us are going to be together when this game actually happens. Now, that's going to be a sight to see. Let me just tell you. I'm going to have to get my referee shirt back out for that one. The Dallas Cowboys are going to put up points, but your defense is going to be your Achilles heel. I look at this schedule, I look at your team, and as much as it pains me, and y'all both know that it pains me to do this, I am legitimately going to give your team a snowball's chance. But see, Alex said the Washington-New York game is going to be the deciding factor of who wins the NFC East crown. No, my brother. It's actually going to be the Philly-Dallas game the last week of the regular season that decides who wins the division. If Dallas should somehow, some way be so successful, then yes, Dallas will get 10 wins and they will win this division. If they don't, Dallas will also be 9-8. That is my prediction with the Dallas Cowboys. I reserve the right to change my mind, but as of right now, I'm saying you do not win the last game of the regular season and you go 9-8. I'm going to let Alex Fleming get his voice of opinion here when it comes to the Dallas football team. And then Mike and Megan, I will give both of you the floor to discuss your team. Mr. Fleming, sir, please, if you would, Dallas Cowboys.
You're on mute. You're muted. You're muted.
Yeah. There you. Yeah.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Good. Mike, Megan, do I have your attention? I had to go into the fridge because what I'm about to say is so cold. You guys are going to suck this year because you lose Dak Prescott in week 1. Dak's not completely healed, and Tampa Bay takes him out opening night. Oh, my God, it's the story of the NFL. We need to protect our quarterbacks. Dak gets blindsided by Shaq Barrett or Jason Pierre-Paul or Devin White or, hell, anybody on the roster. We got the best defense next to the Washington football team, which leads to an escalade of Ezekiel Elliott dropping, CeeDee Lamb mediocre, Amari Cooper being overpaid, and Blake Jarwin getting hurt, getting blindsided by one of your backup bum quarterbacks. Pull up the schedule. Pull up the schedule. Help me out. Pull up the schedule. Okay, after you take the ass whooping from Tampa, then you get the Chargers, who might come off of a sneaky upset because you know week one, anything can happen. That Chargers offense with that Swiss cheese Dallas Cowboy defense, yeah, that's an L. Eagles, who knows? It's divisional. Who cares? Y'all both suck. I hope Dallas gets the W. Carolina, that's an L. Giants, that's an L. Patriots, an L. Bye week. Minnesota, you guys usually fight Minnesota, but without Dak Prescott, I have no idea how you're going to slow down that Minnesota offense. Denver, that's a W. The Falcons, bro, it took you almost overtime and a botched, somehow onside kick when Atlanta Falcons were dumb enough not to jump on it for you to beat them. Okay? So I think that's one of their W's. I think that's an L. Kansas City Chiefs, that's an L. You beat Vegas. Saints, that's an L. Football team, that's an L. You split with New York, but you have to face Washington again. That's an L. Oh, and do you remember Monday night last year against those Arizona Cardinals? You remember last year? Oh, that was hilarious. Dallas Cowboys, 6-11.
What?
Sorry. All right. Megan and Mike, I'm gonna give both of you the floor. Alex and I are gonna take a timeout here since we dogged your team. I at least gave y'all something to fight for, but Megan, Mike,
what'd you say?
Go ahead. I said 9-8.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
I have us going 10-7. I don't think we win the division, but I do think that we're pretty close. We're about one game away from that. I think we start out hot. We are going to lose to Tampa now. I'm not going to sit there and say that they're going to injure Dak the first week of this schedule, but I do think we go on. I think we go on. We beat the Chargers. I think we beat Philly because it's at home. I think we beat Carolina, and I think we beat New York because all those games are at home right there. Then I think we turn around, we lose to New England. I'm concerned about our bye week being so early. We could probably use that about week 10, week 11, but this is what it is. I think we lose to Minnesota. I think we win against Denver. I think we win against ATL, whether it was just by a little bit. We still got that W last year, and I think we've improved, and ATL has not. Kansas City, yeah, we lose. Vegas, win. New Orleans, we win. Now comes the tough part of our schedule. Washington, I think we lose because we're there. New York, I think we lose because we're there. Turn around, we got to play Washington again. I think Washington sweeps us. And then Arizona, yes, I do think we lose. Now that last game, like Eric said, I think that could decide the division right there. But I think after coming off of 4 losses that we're going to be playing really hard. It is going to be in Philly, but I count that one as a W as well. We have made some improvements defensively. We do have Dan Quinn, Legion of Boom. I know it's been some years. The time in ATL makes me nervous, yes, but I think we make some improvements. His play calling will help our defense for sure. Also, in case y'all forgot, we got Micah Parsons. We have done some improvement. And on top of that, we drafted 8 defensive players out of our 11 draft picks. So we did what we needed to do in the draft. Also, we're shopping around our linebackers that we don't really believe in anymore. I wouldn't mind re-signing LVE, but I'm done with Jalen Smith. I've been saying that he's not the one. And also, Jarwin is healthy. And I know that our receiver core has quite a bit of stars, but look for Michael Gallup too.
Okay. Everybody is – well, I think – look, Alex knows I love him. But, Alex, You don't even need to be drug tested. I think John Shear invaded your body with your just elaborately hilarious breakdown of the Dallas Cowboys. So I'll give you a pass that John somehow invaded you by some crazy spell. But look, Tom Brady's never good in the beginning of the season. I don't care if he was with New England. When he was with New England, they always started slow, this and that. The Super Bowl hangover for him isn't as real as it will be for the rest of the team. I don't think, knock on wood, Dak gets hurt week 1. That's kind of terrible to say. And Alex isn't a terrible person. That's why I think John invaded him. That being said, Megan, I do think they beat Tampa. I think they get so up for that game and so ready for it, but they turn around, hear me out, they turn around and lose the next week to the Chargers because of it coming down. Because I love Justin Herbert, Pac-12 quarterbacks. Yeah, people need to, like Alex says, people need to pay attention. And I like what the Chargers did in the draft. They definitely have enough defensively. Again, they were middle of the road, but they were like middle of the road heading up in defense. So, and again, they had some clunkers, but Herbert was a rookie. They added to it. Home against Philly, again, I say it's a split. So I say they win all their home division games and lose all their away division games. So there we go with that. 3-3 in the division. But the game that I think of is New England. And before I get to New England, you're talking about the draft pick, Micah Parsons. Absolutely. Kelvin Joseph, if the guy concentrates, is a perfect corner. Another corner they got later from my neck of the woods again in the Pac-12 was Nashawn Wright. That kid is 6'4". How tall is Richard Sherman? Oh, he's about 6'4". What does Dan Quinn love to coach? Long, athletic corners. Now, I'm not going to say he's going to come in and start day one, but he was a third-round pick. The Cowboys had 11 picks. And Alex and I and you and me and Eric agree on this all the time. You add depth. Everybody talks about adding depth in the middle rounds. Well, let's see. They had 3 third-round picks, 2 fourth-round picks, a fifth-round, 2 sixth-round picks. A lot of depth. The kid they got out of UCLA, because we're going to focus on defense. Because, again, their defense was trash last year. And I will say his name now, Mike Nolan sucks. And Mike McCarthy probably should have been fired for hiring him as a defensive coordinator. Dan Quinn as a coordinator is – now, I'm not going to say, because I think Eric would interrupt if I said he was better or as good. I'm not going to say he's better than, but equally coaching up, he's Wade Phillips. Wade Phillips is a head coach, not the guy. You name me one defensive player that ever played for Wade Phillips that wasn't fired up to go and kill somebody. I mean, figuratively on the field. Dan Quinn has that ability. Yes, and Atlanta as a head coach, different story. As a defensive coordinator, but the Osa Odig Haizuwa, I always have to say his name. So the kid out of UCLA, he's a defensive tackle now. I know he measured out at 6'2", about 285. But this kid had about 13 and a half tackles for loss. So again, he's undersized, but you can't, as you and I know, in any sport, you can't coach quickness. And he fires off the ball, gets through gaps. But the kid that they got later, Quentin Bohanna, from another defensive staff from Kentucky, 6'4", 327. Say he's a run stopper. He's not much of obviously he's not going to drop into like zone blitz because wasn't his strength. But at 6'4", 327, well, who wants to run the ball in the division? The Giants, because they can. Washington will want to run the ball. But now you got a guy 6'4" and 327 in the middle that says, okay, come on, because he'll hold double teams all day. He did it at Kentucky. And they added the most depth. Now, yes, they are rookies. There's going to be growing pains. But you've said it multiple times, and because you even, not that I forgot about it, but when we've talked about football, is what Diggs did as a corner. He grew each week. He got better and better each week, and we saw throughout the season. So the fact that you have a corner there, if Wright can be that second corner by the middle of the season, around the bye week, because the bye week could come at a good time to reset. I'm with you. It's a teeny bit early. I would have liked it to have it like right after Thanksgiving maybe, but I'm with you. It's a teeny bit early, but it's not that bad. At least it's not like after week 5. But here's the thing. But they added so much depth and size. And yes, these guys are going to have to prove it. Not everybody's going to be. And another thing real quick, the 6'4" receiver they got out of Stanford, Simi Fehoko. The kid did drop some passes. But I'll tell you what, the one thing I know with adrenaline and in the red zone, now you have another receiver that's 6'4" tall, and that's going to outjump any 5'10" corner.
And he ain't going to do nothing.
Okay, well, we're not talking about the midgets in Philly, as Alex would say. We're not talking about midget receivers. Sorry. But I'll wrap up here. I'm just saying the Cowboys in the draft, out of all the teams, added the most depth. Dan Quinn did a lot of Dan Quinn is the biggest difference, in my opinion. And you know that because I can't stand Mike Nolan. And he was out. Look, Mike McCarthy doesn't deliver this year. He should be canned too. And I can't stand Jerry Jones, as you know. But that being said, they added the most depth in the draft. And they got your boy, Micah Parsons, which I can't wait to get you a birthday present with the Micah Parsons Cowboys jersey with a little Penn State logo above it. It'll be custom, and you'll have to wear it because it'll be beautiful. That being said,
never.
They're gonna go. They're gonna beat Minnesota. They're gonna beat Denver. They're gonna beat Atlanta. They should beat Vegas. New Orleans is always a toss-up because Sean Payton wants to always stick it to him for not offering him the head coaching gig or giving him a raise. So when Parcells left, he was our head coach, but I'm not bitter, Eric.
No, how do you really feel, Mike?
Yeah. Alex, Eric and I've had many conversations on this because if Bill Parcells would have retired when he said he was going to, Sean Payton was the Cowboys head coach.
And you don't have the situation that you're in now.
Exactly. Thank you. But anyway, okay, we'll move forward. That being said, the Cardinals game is always a revenge game. The fact that it is in Dallas again this year, at least it's an early game. The depth that they added, that's a tough game because I think, man, I'm going to go.
I hate to interrupt you, Mike.
11-6. I'm going 11-6.
11-6. Okay, can I ask you a question, Dallas Cowboy fans? Eric, do me a favor and pull up the schedule because I want to hit them with reality. Tampa Bay, Ronald Jones, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Swiss cheese corners, and rookie corners. That's an L. Chargers, you have to deal with Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler. You can't stop the run, and you don't have corners that can stop the pass. That's an L. Eagles, trash. I don't care. Carolina, McCaffrey, Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, problems. New York, Saquon Barkley, Kenny Golladay, Kadarius Toney, Evan Ingram, problems. Bill Belichick, enough said. Justin Jefferson, Mr. Cook, problems. You can beat Denver because Denver can beat themselves. I don't know if you can beat ATL. I really, truly don't. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and say you do. Kansas City, L. Josh Jacobs, Henry Ruggs, speed, corners, bums. Saints, Sean Payton, Washington football team. Look at that. Oh, and how can I miss the Cardinals? I'm sorry. My bad. Connor, Chase Edmonds, Nook, Fitz, and AJ Green. Be honest with yourself, Dallas. It's not your year.
Okay. First of all, don't we always talk about moving forward? See, you're just doing this to be a pain. Megan, hold on, time out. I'm sorry, but time out. We always talk about moving forward, don't we, Eric? We always talk about moving forward.
I'm sick to my stomach that we've spent this long talking about this team.
Hold on. If it was last year's defense and team and same coaching staff, I'd agree with you, Alex. But Diggs is not a trash corner. Diggs is one of the top rookie corners in the league, and they did beat Minnesota last year, by the way, too. Justin Jefferson. Oh, yeah, he did have some catches, but the Cowboys did beat Minnesota, and I don't think Minnesota's any better than they were. And plus, Eric's former best friend, Kirk Cousins, is still the quarterback of the team. So therefore, as you laugh, they won't lose to Minnesota. I'm not saying that they won't have issues, but you have to admit, as a defensive coordinator, Dan Quinn is like a 10 million step up from Mike Nolan because Mike Nolan's history was trash before he got to Dallas.
Okay. All right. Anyway, I'm not taking nothing away from Dan Quinn's defensive coordinating abilities. What I am saying to you about this team is you are in for a dogfight this year. Now, 100%. I will not be as hellacious as Alex to say you lose Dak week 1 because I don't see that happening. This man is going to play with a severe chip on his shoulder. We've always talked about angry Dak. You're going to see angry black man Dak come out week 1 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It still may prove to be an L, but he's going to do that. But this
isn't Dak an Oreo?
I'm sorry?
Isn't Dak an Oreo?
He's an angry black man. Leave it alone, Alex. My point in all of this is the Dallas Cowboys, we know them to be a team that when hot at the right time can make moves. But I still say to you, now granted, you don't have Tony Romo anymore because I used to say Tony Romo couldn't win in December. Dak can at least do that. Dak can do that, but you're going to be in a dogfight. I am moving on from this because I need some Pepto-Bismol or something because my stomach is just turning and turning and turning. I have
Like,
saved
on some Philly cheese.
Yeah, exactly. I am saving, thank God, the best for last.
Oh.
Ooh, we are moving on, ladies and gentlemen. And Alex, since you're starting to fade to black, sir, I'm going to let you go first with the Philadelphia Eagles. But here is the division, and here is the schedule for the Philadelphia Eagles. So, sir, go ahead, get it off your chest. I know you have a lot that you want to say. What is your prediction for Philadelphia? You're muted again. There you go.
I think the Philadelphia 76ers have a good chance of making the Eastern Conference Finals. I think they got the tools to go up against the Brooklyn Nets and get that chance to go to the NBA Finals. Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, excellent defense, shooters all over the place. Philly can take it somewhere this year. Oh, you meant the Eagles! Oh, my bad, bro. My bad, bro. Eagles are trash. Bro, they're not even recycled trash because you can't use them. They're trash. And it's not even Jalen Hurts' fault. Bro, your defensive line got more holes in it than Tyree's boxers. Your corners couldn't stop Megan if she had her high heels on. Bro, your offensive line couldn't stop me from penetrating, and that's saying something. And, bro, you probably run faster than some of their wide receivers, and you run a 5.6. This team, as a whole, is a dumpster on fire in the middle of a hurricane. If you were an honest Philly fan, you should go no higher than 6, and that's high expectations. Bro, these bums are overpaid, and they deserve to get Roseman, Howie, whatever the hell you want to call him. Get him the hell out of Philly. The cheese has gone bad. 4-13.
Megan and Mike, I'll let either Megan Price, if you would please, your assessment of Philadelphia.
I'm going to say 7-10. I think that's being kind of nice, but I really like Jalen Hurts. You know, what I liked about him the most is that he graduated from Alabama, then went to OU and finished out. And I think he wanted to spend some time developing. And I think he developed under the coach that I really wish we would have hired instead of McCarthy. I wish we would have hired Lincoln Riley. So I think that time that he spent under Lincoln Riley is going to prove he's going to be time tested. And I think that now that drama with Carson Wentz is out, I think that this is his team. And he's going to take it on his back, and he's going to lead them to at least seven wins.
Mr. Carrot Sanudo?
God, Alex is really being invaded by John. He must put a Harry Potter spell on him because you drafted the Heisman Trophy winner. And I told you draft night, Eric, that I love that pick. I don't care if people say he's undersized. Guess what? You can't catch. You can't tackle what you can't catch. You can't hold up what you can't catch. He gets off the ball. Nick Saban talking so much about his route running. That'll help Jalen Hurts a lot. Granted, he hasn't thrown him a ball since Devontae Smith was a freshman. I know it's a reunited thing. But look, yeah, the offensive line is the issue. As like we said, you know, for the other teams. And again, I'm not making this about the Cowboys, but the Cowboys also getting one all-pro lineman back, 2 all-pro lineman back, and a Pro Bowl lineman back makes a huge difference. But the offensive line, yes, as you know, Eric, will be the key because Carson Wentz, if he was being a diva and like ignoring play calls or yapping away, I don't even know if he was trying to get himself thrown out of Philly, but they did not protect him long enough. I mean, Jalen Hurts has some good games, but he also had to take off and run a lot. So yes, you need to shore up what you do on the offensive line. But I think, yes, they could have went with an offensive lineman as their number 1 pick, but then they also got Landon Dickerson out of Alabama too, the center out of Alabama, which, again, I've seen things written up about him. Look, you know me. I love the eye test. Obviously, the boy can play. We'll see what he does at center. That's a huge, huge starting point for the Eagles. So when I look at their schedule, I see you open up at Atlanta. Okay, I will say that's a win between the Dirty Birds. Then San Francisco, I say, again, that's a loss. The Dallas game is at Dallas. So, yes, I say, well, I already told you the division. I'd say Dallas wins all their home division games and loses all their road division games. So the Eagles lose that one. Kansas City, yes, our whole division loses to Kansas City this year. They beat Carolina, I think. And again, it's not because we're all talking about, obviously, Sam Darnold. I think he can do it, their offense. But defensively, I wasn't impressed with what Carolina did last year anyway on defense. So, yeah, McCaffrey being healthy, if they keep the defense on the field as little as possible, sure. But I'm not sold on Carolina yet either. Then you get Tampa Bay. So, yeah, I'm going to say, it's home against Tampa. Again, it's a home game in Philly against Tampa on a Sunday night. I would lean Tampa, but again, that's a game I wouldn't be surprised.
Actually, it's a short week for Philly. It's a Thursday night game, but I'll get to that in a minute. Go ahead.
Yeah, Thursday. I'm sorry, but okay, disadvantage for both teams. And again, it being a primetime game, I think, again, Jalen Hurts, athletic quarterbacks. Again, defenses that can get pressure usually always struggle, as we know, with athletic quarterbacks. The Raiders, they're in Vegas. Vegas will be open. That's hard for a lot of players, but no. But I think they beat Vegas. I think they beat Detroit. The Chargers, again, I think could be a loss because I am higher on the Chargers. Denver, yeah, I'm with you. Lost. New Orleans, say it's a loss. The Giants game in the Meadowlands, in MetLife, yeah, I say that's a loss. And then they beat the Jets. I mean, they get to wow, they got two easy games. I mean, they got two easy location games back to back. So they beat the Jets. Home against Washington, they win. And then home against the Giants, they win. At Washington, they lose. And then Dallas, well, I said Dallas wins a home game. So, yeah, so then Dallas wins that last game of the year. But, I mean, I don't know. I look at some of these games that go the way.
Actually, Dallas would lose that last game because Dallas comes to Philly, and you said Dallas would lose all their road games.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, yes, Dallas. That's right. My bad. My apologies. That's
okay.
It is first. So, I mean, again, I think a few of those games could swing the other way. Again, I said I'm not sold on Carolina. Doesn't mean you couldn't swing the other way. The Saints, yes, you and me, I think, are kind of seeing the Saints. And as I last checked, too, not even just Sean Payton. The secondary will be an issue, but Cameron Jordan's still in New Orleans. Last I knew, he could get to quarterbacks and take off their heads. So for your Eagles, I am actually going to go. I'm going to go 9-8 for the Eagles.
Fair enough.
I go 9-8. Oh, it pains me to say because look, Devontae Smith was a great pick. I know a lot of people were shocked and unhappy. I'm sorry, a Heisman Trophy winner. That's not a quarterback that doesn't have all the pressure that can run by people. Oh, and by the way, he doesn't drop the ball. Doesn't drop it.
Oh, Mike. Sorry. You and I know this. There are those who would beg to differ, but you and I know this. So allow me, if you will, please. I appreciate everybody and their thoughts, especially one Mr. Fleming. But I'm going to pull the schedule up, and I want everybody on screen when I run this down here really quick because here's what I need to say when it comes to my Philadelphia Eagles. Now, for all the talk, and there's a lot of it, and people such as Alex and other Cowboy fans who are not as respectable as Mike or Megan are going to look at this and say the Eagles are trash. You guys are going to lose every game. You suck. I've heard it all. There's nothing you can say about my team that I haven't heard. But here's the one thing you're forgetting. We're still an NFL team, number one. And number two, last time I checked, over the last 5 years, we have a championship. We beat the GOAT in order to get our first ring. Now, yeah, it was because of the Philly special. It was because of Nick Foles. You can say whatever you want, but the fact still remains, we still have a championship, whereas other teams don't. Now, some teams will go out and buy the farm to purchase them a championship ring. Other teams will earn it. And then there are dogs such as Philadelphia who will fight and crawl, claw, and scrap and scrape to get to where they need to be, where they have earned the right to be. But the fact of the matter is, Carson Wentz has moved on. Nick Foles has moved on. So what has been lifted from the shoulders of all Philadelphia Eagle fans and players is the fact that there's no more controversy. And see, when there's not a controversy, then there can be continuity. Now, yeah, Jalen Hurts coming in, he played 4 games last season. He was 1-3. The victory against the Saints, no one saw that coming. But guess what? Pulled out a victory. Divisional play, still yet to behold. And say what you want about the last game of the regular season against the Washington football team. It is what it is. We're moving past that. If you're going to still focus on what we did last season, then guess what? This ain't for you. We have a bone to pick with a lot of teams on our schedule this year, starting off with the Atlanta Falcons, because Atlanta and Philly don't like each other. Now, that's why I want the case for Julio Jones. Let Julio come to us. We could put a thorn in your side, and we'll keep that rivalry going. Home opener against the San Francisco 49ers, I got to see Jimmy G. If Jimmy G's playing, yeah, we'll probably suffer an L on our home opener because I got to believe in the brother. Dallas on Monday Night Football this early. Typically, they wait till like week 8, 9 when football is starting to decline. We bring the ratings back up. It's Dallas, it's Philly. But we got a Monday Night Football matchup, and I think that's going to be one of the key games, if you will, in either our success or our demise. Now, Kansas City, Andy Reid coming back to Philadelphia. The brother always gets a standing ovation. Would I like to see us beat Kansas City? Of course I would. Is it going to happen? I give us a 30% chance of it actually making something happen. Carolina, no, we're beating Carolina. Mark it down on your calendar. Here's the matchup. See, for all the talk that the Super Bowl 55 champions have, here's the one thing they forgot. Tom Brady can't beat our Eagles defense. Now, yeah, you got Chris Godwin, you got Mike Evans, you got Antonio Brown, you got Rob Gronkowski, you got O.J. Howard, you got Cameron Brate, you got all these boys. But you have to stop our defense. And if Brandon Graham breaks through that offensive line that's supposed to protect Tom Brady and puts a handle on Brady, guess what? Your boy's going down. So, yeah, I say upset Thursday night in Philly. If this was in Tampa, it'd be no question. I'd be at that game hooting and hollering and probably wind up in Hillsborough County. But it don't matter. You're coming to the 215. So, Brady, come on. Antonio Brown, come on. Evans, Godwin, come on. Y'all going to get an ass whooping. It's finna happen. Then we go to Vegas. And, Mike, to your point, that's a dangerous place for us to be right around the Halloween time. Yeah. I'm still trying to get tickets to that game. And if anybody got a hookup, let a brother know because I'm trying to go to Vegas for the Raider game. But I still say we pull off a victory. So that says between weeks 5 through 8, I got 4 victories under my belt. Even if I start the season 1-3, I'm 4-4 midway through. Justin Herbert, come on. Joey Bosa or Nick Bosa, whichever one of the Bosa boys it is, come on from the Chargers. We play Denver. We got to go to Denver. We beat Denver in Denver one time, 51-3. I want to see what Denver's going to try and do for an encore presentation. That Saints matchup, week 11. It's the matchup that scares me. Because like I said earlier, Sean Payton is still the coach. And then we go into divisional play. Giants, Jets. Well, we're in the same place twice. We're just facing 2 different teams. One's a divisional team and one's a team where I have to fight with my wife. It's our 4-year annual fight that we have because she's a Jets fan. Go and Jets. I love Mama Carrot Tenuto. But let me just say this. We are not fans that day. I will love you and hug you the Saturday and the Monday, but that Sunday, it ain't happening. Now, if you beat us, guess what? Mama Carrot Tenuto, you are a much better fan and person than I am, as you always are, but no, not so much. Our bye week is what kills me. But I'm actually happy that I have my bye week, week 14. You want to know why? Because I got 3 out of 4 divisional home games against Washington, New York, Washington, and then Dallas. Like I said before, January 9th, 2022, mark it on your calendar. That's going to be the game, the telltale sign. Either Dallas is going to the postseason or Philly's going to the postseason. Y'all say Dallas is going. I say we're going. That's why I give us a 10-7 record. You know, but please, hold on. Well, let me just say this one last thing, Mike. But please let me just say this. For those who want to underestimate the heart and the durability of Philadelphia, please remember this. When we put you in your place and remind you of who we are, keep chirping. Just keep on doing it. Because I don't want to have to go looking and searching for you when you suffer that L.
You know what the NFL office is doing? Because they keep like the stretch of games, like we're talking, Washington 5 in a row, and then Philly with all that. You know what they're really doing? Because the NFL office is in New York. They're giving the mythical finger to pretty much all Giants and Eagles fans because of last year. All the Giants fans whining and crying that they didn't try to. I'm sorry, and you know how I feel about that. I didn't want the Cowboys to go if the Eagles had a win. Like I really didn't. Like I didn't. I mean. They could have had a tie for all I cared. That being said, this is even though we all know divisional games, the last week of the season, everybody plays division games because that's how they try to get rid of, teams resting their starters. Although if you're a team like Kansas City and Buffalo, you probably don't care by week 15 because, and I'll put Baltimore there too, because again, I'm not sleeping on Baltimore, but if you're one of those division champs by probably week 14, 15, you don't care because you know where you're going. But that being said, it's one of those things where they're giving the mythical finger to our whole division, because I think of probably the New York press too. I mean, I read some of it, but Eric, like, I think I told you, I told him this, I got tired of reading it. Like, win the game. I'm just sick and tired of it. Win your games. The whole division sucked. I mean, I have to go out. Last year they sucked. Every year is a new year moving forward. It's not going to be, it can't be as bad as it was last year, because I mean, it was absolutely terrible. That being said, I just think it is the NFL scheduling and office giving the finger to the Giants and the whole division saying, cool, your last 5 weeks are going to be miserable. And where it does hurt more too, because again, you know, you're always going to have one division game at least the last week of the season, maybe the last 2 weeks, but the last 5 weeks of the season, where it hurts now. And Eric, you just brought up this point, teams jockeying for the wild card, because they're going to go in there and have to kill each other. And then if you do survive that, whoever does survive it, you're not getting a bye because you're sure as shit not the number 1 seed. Right. And even the number 2 seed doesn't get a bye. So You're not going to be the number 1 seed. So now you go into that first round of the playoffs, and I would hate to bet against the Cowboys. I have no problem betting against any other NFC East team. But that first week, I bet against them, because if they do get to the playoffs, again, I'm not saying that every game in the NFL isn't tough. You know me. But when you play 5 division games, 3 division games, back to back to back, then you go into the playoffs with no bye week, you're probably going to lose in the first round. And again, are they talented? Are they good? Are they deep? Okay, fine. You're probably losing in the first round, because chances are too is if it's for a wild card team, not the division winner, but the wild card team, you're going to be on the road somewhere if you fight for a wild card. But it could screw the division, because again, one team might only get in and the other teams might actually be better, like we're saying. So thank you, New York media, for crying and whining and complaining about Doug Peterson wanting to do what he wanted to do, and who cares about your team because you couldn't win more than 6 games anyway. So thanks a lot for probably ruining our division's playoff hopes this year, or success in the playoffs. But I'm not bitter, Eric. Not at all. Not at all.
No, not at all. I think we're going to start a new segment, Mike, called I'm Not Bitter, with Michael Carrot-Tenuto.
Co-starring Sean Payton, because he'd be my first guest.
Fair enough. Mr. Fleming, I believe, has blacked out for the night. I'm not sure where he is. He might still be there. Oh, no, there he is. We got him. Appreciate everybody joining us here on the Sports Arena this evening. For our girl, Megan Price, 806, and the Sip Off, Mike Carrot-Tenuto, Believe in the Pac-12 podcast, and Mr. Fleming, Fantasy and Flavors, and Florida Sun Review.
Hold up. I don't want you thinking I'm just straight darkness. Can you see me now? Ooh. This is how scary the NFC East is. It's dark outside, and nobody wants to watch this garbage. Oh, and one last thing. The reason why I'm hating on Philly and why I'm not worried about them, usually you have to dress up in a suit and tie, because not everybody could be leader of men, like the offensive coordinator of the Kansas City Chiefs. But when you don't shave and you're in the pajamas and you get a head coaching position, I have no faith in that bum. And that's why Philly's going to suck.
That being said, we're going to leave it there, ladies and gentlemen. For all of us here at the Sports Arena, we will see you guys really soon. Next Monday night, calling all NFC South fans. Next Monday night, we will finish up our journey, wrapping up, talking about the NFC South, which of course features the Carolina Panthers, the Atlanta Falcons, the New Orleans Saints, and the reigning, defending, undisputed Super Bowl 55, and they all the way live, fire them cannons, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. See ya.
Woo!